Speaking of things that can only ever get a lot worse,
Jesus Christ.
let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Pirates of.
I feel bad for this man right now, like, cause like, listen, whenever the you feel the full weight of the internet coming raining down upon you, like even if you get just a fraction of the weight of the internet bearing down on you, it can be very, very crushing. I've had similar things to this, never on this scale, but I've had similar things where sometimes people came down on me for like either having a certain opinion or because they thought I did something I didn't actually do, and so on and so forth. I've experienced this. And it is miserable because it, like, even after you're done working, you've done your thing, it's like eating away at you in your head, right? And at the scale that Pirate Software is getting it, it's absolutely insane. But to a certain extent, it is also absolutely self-inflicted because bro will simply not back down, and he will triple down, quadruple down. He will not admit to any fault whatsoever. And so what's been happening recently is because there's all this attention on Pirate Software, we now have a couple of channels that do coding, and they've been looking at Pirate Software's coding.
Dude, that's
and let me just say something, okay? You know, I get it that for educational purposes and all that, sure, fine, whatever. But like the degree of scrutiny to which they're looking at his code is absolutely insane. And I say this as I have a comp sci degree, right? I went to college. I know the basics of coding and all of that. And even though that was like 20 years ago, so my knowledge nowadays is not nearly as
guys, don't listen to Rurikon saying he knows what he's talking about. The man can code on DOS. We're over that. But, you know, just write in the comment section telling him how cool he is that he can write in DOS.
I'm amazing. No, it's like the point is I can have a basic understanding of like if then statements, for functions, all of that, you know, all of that stuff. I understand how it works,
DOS.
even though my not in DOS, bro. I coded in Windows. I coded in a bunch of listen, I even coded in assembly, which is worse than DOS, okay? Like, listen, in assembly, I had to do code in assembly back in the day where these computers were so old that we had to go to like a separate building in the college where they kept all the really old shit, and we were coding in assembly. And let me tell you, assembly was so unoptimal that the way my code worked, me and my friend, we worked on this project. It was like, okay, so listen, we need to go from line 100 to like line 200 or something. But the problem is you couldn't just jump 100 lines because that was too intensive for the computers at the time. So it's like you would do a jump to line like 25, and then on line 25 there would be another jump in instruction to go to line 50, and then on line 50 another one. And so the code would be that was terrible code. Okay, it was atrocious. But we were just like, listen, I just want to pass this fucking grade. Ain't nobody using this goddamn language anymore. This is like I'm writing in Latin or some shit. Yeah. But yeah, I've done some coding is all I'm saying, right? And the other thing that I would like to bring up,
obviously.
Yeah. But the thing that I would bring up is like, it always sucks when somebody is looking at your code after you've done it.
Yeah.
Because they can find like all the little flaws, whereas because the thing about coding is like you can be thinking about a problem and you can be thinking about that coding problem for like 3 hours. Yeah. And maybe you came up with a solution, maybe you haven't. And this is why it's so much cooler to code with somebody else, because you can be looking at it some way and then the other person comes in, looks at your code and goes like, have you tried this? And you're just like, fuck, because you're thinking about, I need to solve the problem this way. And somebody comes in from the outside and it's like, but what if you just solve it this other way, this completely different thing? And you're like, damn it, because you've been so focused on your one way of thinking. And then you're just like quadrupling down on bad inputs. So that's why having more people look at your code is like way better. But anyways, so these guys looked at his code. And there's a whole bunch of problems there. Like it's not optimal, and there's like performance issues that his game is going to have, despite the fact that, you know, because he has this game that's Heartbound, which is like pixel art and all of that stuff. So it shouldn't be that demanding. No. But apparently,
Well,
if
it
you put it on
depends.
like
If you
a
go
lower
back
end,
to those PCs that you used to program on, it would probably give a lot of trouble thanks to the coding.
yeah, I know, but like it should work fine on most systems. But apparently, people are saying like, oh, because of the way that he's rendering this, because of the way that he wrote this function, it's actually not super optimized. And they're like really honing in on it. And then they also honed in on what he used to do, like DRM for his game, which to me was.
To me, that was the most interesting part of all of that. Because I'm with you, just by the way, on the whole programming thing. It's like, dude, he programmed it to work, right? And that was his decision. He made certain decisions. It's very rare. As long as it works, it's not wrong. Is it the most optimal? Maybe not, but who gives a shit, right? It runs, it works, it does what it needs to do. The DRM stuff I found ridiculously interesting. And before you continue, I'll just say,
go ahead.
The reason I do is because Thor marketed himself from day one as like this expert on security and sort of like being a white hacker, that kind of thing, right? So he was like this expert on DRM and finding ways to stop cheaters. But okay, so continue.
So what happens with the DRM situation to me was just like the level of arrogance, because these people brought up clips of him like talking about the DRM solution that he had for his game. Yeah. And he just goes, he's like, oh yeah, I made my game unpiratable. And I was like, what? I made my game unpiratable because all of the, the powers that you unlock in the game are tied to your Steam achievements. And that makes
I
the
went
game
to the high
unpiratable.
seas just quickly after I heard him say that. I went to the high seas and there sure is a lot of people that figured that out to pirate it, just FYI. But
no, but it's like, to me, the biggest thing is like, how arrogant do you have to be where like, I'm a genius, nobody's ever thought of this.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man, what the fuck do you mean?
Especially when what he thought of is so basic. Like, you hear him say it.
It's so easy. Apparently, it's so easy to like emulate Steam and whatnot, because people talked about it and they were just like, oh yeah, you can just totally emulate this shit and like completely pirate the fuck out of it. And I was like, what? How arrogant do you have to be to think that you just found like something super basic and you just instantly assume that like nobody's ever thought of this because I'm a fucking genius? It's like, come on, man. It's like, no, I've never even considered that when I was like coding. I was like, I'm sure somebody figured out a much better way of doing this shit, but this is how I can get it to work, so this is fine.
The one guy that I was watching actually showed how quickly afterwards they cracked his game. And it was like an hour after Heartbound went live, there was a pirate copy of Heartbound available to play. Right? That's how quickly they figured out how to get around his. Because the whole thing is it's tied to your save file on Steam.
Yeah.
So unless you have a Steam save file, you can't actually play the game. But the problem is you have literal, as Rurkon said, Steam emulators that emulate a Steam save file, which is literally available on GitHub. Like, you can literally go download any one of hundreds of Steam emulators that will just do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like strange the way that he is so arrogant about everything, and then he's still so wrong about so many different things. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I just feel like, listen, bro, you had a bad take on Stop Killing Games. It's not the end of the world. Just say that you had a bad take. Okay, every now and then I make mistakes, and I just like, hey guys, you know what? I got that one wrong. My bad. Yeah. Like recently. Whenever there was this Monster Hunter thing where they were talking about how they were implementing FSR 4.
Yeah.
But FSR 4 apparently only works on the 90 series cards.
Of course.
And I'm so used to NVIDIA's scumbaggery of like purposefully locking software behind hardware, despite the fact the hardware doesn't really contribute anything meaningful. Like some versions of the LSS and whatnot, they would just like lock, oh no, this only works on the 30 series or the 40 series cards, despite the fact that they could easily implement it in the other ones.
So you mean like the LSS 2.0 doesn't work on the 30 series, only on the 400 series, but then 3.0 is like, oh wow, you guys are scumbags, but never mind.
Yeah. So it's like, because I'm so used to that, I instantly assume that, like, well, obviously this would work on earlier cards. They're just doing the NVIDIA thing. And I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay. Apparently there actually are specific cores on the 90 series AMD cards that enable FSR4, and that without those, you actually lose performance if you were to implement it on earlier cards. So I was like, hey, guess what? I was wrong. Listen, Thor, Jason, that's how you do. I was wrong.
Yeah,
I was wrong. Sorry, my bad.
I think
I'm used to getting scammed. It is what it is.
Yeah, I just want to say, I don't even think it's necessarily that he had a bad take on the stop killing games thing.
It's that he quadrupled down on that bad take.
Not even that, because I would argue I have a pretty bad take compared to the rest of the internet on stop killing games, because I'm not wholly in support of the initiative, right? I am lukewarm in support of the initiative, insofar as I want them to stop killing games, but I also want the petition to be super specific about what it wants, right? Because I don't trust the government. So, but a lot of people do think that's a super stupid take because, we'll figure it out in post. We're not going to do it now. We just need to get this on the floor. And so my take on this was, okay, no worries. We'll see how it plays out. If it turns out that the politicians really ruin our hobby, I'm going to be the one going, I told you so, right? If they don't, I'll just play my games as normal and it wouldn't even bother me, right? But it's fine. Either way, I think the problem that I have with Pirate Software is not only did he have a super bad take, he misrepresented what stop killing games even is, right? So he lied about what stop killing games is. And then even after people pointed out to him, wait, bro, but what the hell are you talking about? He doubled down on the misrepresentation. Like, he never admitted that, or even just, you could always come out and say, oh, guys, I completely misunderstood what this initiative is actually about. My apologies. I still don't agree with it, but here's my updated take on it, or whatever. Instead, he sort of doubles down and tries to gaslight everyone that he didn't misrepresent it, even though you can listen to him misrepresenting it, right, in real time. I think that's my issue. But what you said about him being arrogant, you see, this is what I think will bite him in the ass ultimately, because he came onto the scene and presented himself as this expert, right? He spoke with such authority on the ideas of security and of being, this ex-Blizzard employee and all of the hackers that he stopped and all of the DDoS attacks that he stopped. And, he was integral in the security of World of Warcraft. Anyone that's ever played World of Warcraft will immediately go, what security? Where? Like, what are you talking about?
Bots are everywhere.
Like, dude,
it's like,
there's more bots in that game than actual people. What are you talking about?
It's his fault. He's going to get blamed for it now. Where was the security, Jason? Why are there so many bots in World of Warcraft? You bastard.
Turns out it's your fault. File for World of Warcraft doesn't work that well.
No, you know what he's going to say? He's going to be like, well, I left Blizzard. Now it's full of bots. It was me. I was keeping them all at bay. He's going to take credit.
So I think, and that's the problem. It turns out he's not that big of an expert. He might be good at it, but he's certainly no, Newton or Einstein when it comes to anti-bot behavior, right?
It's almost like the Elon Musk situation with Path of Exile, right?
Yeah.
Do people actually care if Elon Musk is like a pro Path of Exile 2 player? No.
Oh.
No, nobody really cares. They would rather him just play the game. Just play the game, bro.
Just make your cars, bro. Like, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, exactly. Just play the game if you want to. Stream it on X. Do whatever the fuck you want. Nobody cares. Just don't try to sell it to people.
Especially streaming on X.
You don't understand. I'm the best. I'm the best hardcore player in the world with his tab that says Elon's map. It's like, bro, come on, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Now. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? It's crazy.
I think it's really annoying, especially with Pirate Software, because this is the whole thing. He presented himself as an expert, And now it's turned out he's not that big of an expert. He's good, but he's no second coming. And
Yeah,
the issue is he
it's
wants to be
fine.
seen as the second coming, right? So he won't just admit, yeah, guys, I make mistakes like everyone else. Instead, he demands that people go back to worshiping him. Right? People should go back to listening to everything he says.
And it's like, I wish that he would understand that being entertaining is more important than being good in the line of work that he's in right now for the streaming and all of that. That, being able to entertain an audience is more valuable than how good you are at coding for this specific. It's just like, I don't know. I guess I just look at it differently. Like, I never tried to be, I'm going to be the best Monster Hunter player. I'm not. I always tell people if I can do it, anybody can do it. So it's like,
yeah, I think, in fact, if you look at the greatest streamers of all time, very few of them are the best at what they do, right? Ninja is one of the few exceptions of a guy that was super good at Fortnite. But, and this should be mentioned, when Ninja played actual professional Fortnite players, he got his ass handed to him. Yeah. Because he's good for, he's reasonably good, but he's not pro level good. But then the pros aren't getting his views. Why? Because they're not entertaining. They're just professionals.
Because they're good at playing the game. Like, that's it. They're not as good at entertaining an audience, at least most of them. I'm not going to make the case for every, because I don't even follow esports or anything.
No, I was just using him as the example because outside of him, look at Kai Cenat. Was it Kai that, how many hundreds of times did he die on Elden Ring bosses? Bosses that I managed to kill in like 40 pulls, maybe. He would have like 300-400 deaths on. But there were thousands of people watching him. There were about 40 people watching me. Right? So clearly, it doesn't matter, right? People want to see him get frustrated. They're enjoying him. He's entertaining. And that's all that really matters. People aren't really looking for, the best streamer. They're looking for someone that makes them laugh, that makes them forget about the shit that's going on in their life, Yeah, I think fundamentally Pirate Software is making himself look the fool. And when you look actually at his channels, it's not good, bro.
Oh yeah, he's been on a bit of a downward trend, but it's like, it's recoverable. I just feel like at a certain point, just actually look and see, did I do something wrong? Okay, I did a couple of things wrong. Let me just address these. Boom, done.
Dude,
that's people, literally it. That's what people want.
Most people have a tremendous capacity for forgiveness. If you own and you go, I'm so sorry, guys, most people will forgive you. Most people will be like, oh yeah, just don't do it again, and then move on, right? Because no one is actually looking to destroy this man's life. Like, no one's actually
I don't know anymore, dude. Nowadays, I don't know anymore.
The thing is,
like, you look at Pirate Software on YouTube, and there's like a million channels just like, oh, I'm gonna get a piece of that pie.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people, but I would also just like to point out that there's a lot of people trying to make a name for themselves in the drama space, and any drama that pops up is an immediate, let's go. Maybe this is my big break.
Let's go, jump in.
Yeah. Maybe this is my big break. With the new YouTube algorithm changes, probably not your big break, but never mind that, right? Okay, so sticking to